Good afternoon, all. I hope you are having a good day. I am about to go out for a walk as usual. Not much to do these days outside. It's either run, walk, and get food. Those are the options. But hey, we are grateful for life. I'm grateful for life, and I hope you are too. But I'd like to touch base with you today as it relates to Character 101, and the subtopic is as confident as a strawberry. Yeah, the topic is it's about confidence. So, subtopic as confidence as a strawberry. So one of the definitions that I found of character, as per previous sessions, is the complex of mental and ethical traits marking and often individualizing a person, group, or nation. And one of the definitions that I found of confidence is the quality or state of being certain, a feeling of having little doubt about yourself and your abilities. So I'll start off with a story. A number of years ago, like a group of us we were spending some time with some kids, and somebody asked this little girl, she was about 3 or 4, beautiful little girl, so what would you like to be when you grow up? And she piped up with great confidence, I want to be a strawberry, was her response. Now, the adults, we did our best to not burst, we tried our best not to burst out into laughter because, you know, we don't want to crush them when they're so little. Then somebody was able to explain to her that human children don't turn into strawberries, they don't turn into fruit. But that was her confident response. She felt like she had so much confidence that she could turn from being a child into a fruit, into a strawberry. But she was only 3 or 4, so her response matched up with her age. But that was just a little funny story I thought I'd share. So, I was thinking about confidence, and confidence, for my definition, for my observation, is a state of being that allows people to rest content in the fact that they are enough, and they have the abilities to succeed and to thrive in whatever situation that they face. As a person of faith, I obviously harness my abilities. I practice, I read, I study to harness my abilities. But my confidence is not just in my abilities. My confidence is in God. I'm like the moon. So the moon draws its light from the sun. So the moon can't become cocky and think, oh, I'm all that. Because it knows that its source of light is the sun. And so that's me. I draw my light from God. So if I look bright, it's only because He shines His light on me. That's where I draw my confidence from. But it's also important to definitely harness your skills and abilities. You can't just rely on God. He's not going to do the reading for you. He's not going to listen to the podcasts for you. He's not going to exercise for you. So He does His bit, but it's down to us to do our bit. So, what does confidence look like? I've put down here, confidence is quiet. Confidence is quiet because it has a lot going for it. So there's no need for it to make grandiose announcements. So for instance, Warren Buffett, for instance, he doesn't need to announce to the world that he's a billionaire. He just allows his results speak for him. So when you find a person who's truly confident in who they are, they don't need to use a lot of words, because again, it's about that aura that they carry. They know who they are, and their confidence and content in who they are. What does confidence look like? Confidence does not compete. So just like a strawberry is not going to compete with an apple, fruit don't compete, but somehow humans, we manage to compete. And I was walking last week in the park, and I just noticed how the trees sometimes overlapped, but there was no competition. The tall tree was not intimidated by the little tree. The tree with flowers was not intimidated by the tree with just leaves. They just stood confident in what position they held. They just stood confident, and sometimes they overlapped. They were like right next to each other, but there was no competition. So a person who's confident doesn't need to compete. They are aware of their strengths and their weaknesses, but they stay in their strength zone. And that's an idea that I heard shared by John Maxwell. He stays in his strength zone. His strength zone is leadership. He does not try to carry out heart surgery on people because he knows what his strength is and he sticks with that. Yeah. Um, Also, a confident person does not make comparison with others. Again, they know who they are. An apple knows it's an apple. A strawberry knows it's a strawberry. So there's no need making comparisons there. The comparisons are irrelevant. So if you're a doctor, you're like, and this is what you do. So if you're a doctor, your skills are not comparable to the skills of a surgeon or the skills of a politician. They're very, you need very different skills. So knowing who you are and what you have to offer allows you to be content in who you are, and so therefore there's no need for you to make comparisons with other people. And also remembering as well the uniqueness of each individual. So you can have two teachers, and they will offer their skills in unique ways, and it's important to just focus on how you can provide your skills and offer your skills uniquely to who you are, instead of competing with somebody else or copying somebody else or trying to do what somebody else is doing. So a confident person does not they don't compare themselves to other people. They retain full confidence in their own abilities to succeed. So I just wanted to just draw a distinction between confidence and cockiness. Yeah, a confident person is humble, so they can humbly say, "I'm a great speaker." They say it without the intention of intimidating, although people might be intimidated by them. They say that without the intention of boasting. They just know who they are, and they're able to say who they are. And they say it's to affirm themselves. It's not to make you feel uncomfortable or to make you feel intimidated. They're humble. They're humble enough to admit their own strengths as well as their weaknesses as well. So if they're weak in a certain area, they're not a confident person is not afraid to say that they're weak in such an area, because they know that it doesn't make them any less than of a person, right? Because ultimately you are not your skills, and that's why it's important to learn character traits, because who a person is more formed in their character than in what they do, because skills can be learned. You can learn to become a surgeon, but can you be a kind surgeon? Can you be a considerate surgeon? Can you be an attentive surgeon? Can you be a confident surgeon? So it's not just about the skills that you have to offer, it's who you are as a person. Um, a cocky person is brash. They're overly self-confident. They're boastful. They just know how to just focus. They essentially focus on themselves, on their strengths, and that's all they can talk about. Just me. They just look at just themselves. That's it. The world revolves around them. A confident person sees the good in themselves, but they also see the good in others. So a confident person is able to acknowledge their own strengths, like I alluded to earlier on, and they can also acknowledge the strengths in other people, even if that person's strength is actually their weakness. So perhaps I might have a weakness in, I don't know, maybe skating or drawing. Yeah, I could have a weakness in drawing, or in business management. I could have a weakness there, but then I come into the presence of somebody who is good in that area, so I can humbly admit my weakness and see their strength, acknowledge their strength, and congratulate them for their strength. And if I want to take that one step further, I can learn from their strength. But just because I'm weak in an area shouldn't make you feel any less confident as a person, because your strengths are still there. And as if you recall, who you are as a person is not just linked to the skills that you have. It's more than that. It's the core of the person that you are and the character traits that you carry. And then to contrast that, a cocky person is too blinded by their own brightness that they cannot even acknowledge or even see the greatness in somebody else, because they're so focused on themselves. So that's the difference between confidence and cockiness. So overall, a confident person is humble. They can acknowledge greatness in other people, a cocky person is overly self-confident, they're brash, they're arrogant, they don't see greatness in other people, and if they do, they don't acknowledge it because they're so taken up with their own brightness. So how do you develop confidence? Um, how do you become as confident as a strawberry? Number one tip, spend time with yourself. Spend time getting to know you. Silence is a good thing. Walks in the park alone are a good thing. So the isolation, you can actually take some benefit from that because then you can spend time getting to know you, what your likes and dislikes are, what your strengths and weaknesses are. And so when you are able to identify your strengths and weaknesses, then you can start building on your strengths and see whether some of your weaknesses can be converted into strengths or whether they just need to be managed, because the reality is there's not enough time in the world for us to be good at everything. So I can't be an astronaut and a business person and an inventor and a writer and a mom, and it's too much. We don't have enough time in the day to learn everything that we need to learn and to be excellent at everything that we need to be excellent at. So spend time getting to know yourself, and when you're doing this, then you're developing your strengths. You're also developing and identifying what you're passionate about, because it's possible to be good at something but not be passionate about it. And you really do need passion in life to be able to motivate you. Passion is that thing that will keep you going in spite of obstacles. Whereas if you're just following your strengths because you just have certain skills and you just feel like, oh, I'm good at this, I'm just going to do it. If you're not passionate about it, you might find yourself giving up along the way. So spend time with yourself. Next, develop confidence in not just what you do, but rather in who you are. So in order to do that, it's important to develop good quality character traits. So kindness, honesty, hard work, consistency, loyalty, some of the character traits that we're going to be talking about during these podcasts. So it's important to spend time developing who you are as a person, so that if you walk into the presence of somebody who's richer than you or somebody who's more beautiful or more handsome, you're not threatened by them. You acknowledge them, you acknowledge their greatness, but you don't lay aside your own greatness, because your greatness is just as valid. Okay? So invest in yourself, invest in becoming a top quality person, so that you can, just like the trees, you can stand alongside a person of greatness and not be perturbed by them. You both of you can just shine without trying to compete. And then finally, commit to being a lifelong learner and being a confident one at that. So a year or two ago, I thought I'd just take up a language. So I've always wanted to learn French. So I enrolled in some French lessons. When I walked into the French class, the teacher started to speak in French. Obviously, it's a French class, so I'm not sure what I was expecting. I guess I wasn't expecting to be thrown in at the deep end so soon. And all these thoughts of fear and panic just flooded me. I was like, oh my god, what's going on? I don't know what he's saying. I was afraid to fail, and I think, like, as it relates to being confident, it's important for us as individuals to understand that failure is just an event. It's okay to fail, but it's not okay to stay in a place of failure. So if you do fail, learn from it and then get back up. It's sometimes you will be ignorant in certain matters, but if it's a situation whereby you actually need information, then it's important that you get that information, because being ignorant is one thing, but refusing to learn is another thing. So if you're starting up a business, you're starting up a relationship with a married partner, you're starting up with like kids, there are books on these things. There are books you can learn from. You can learn from other people's experiences, and you can also learn from reading books as well. So commit to being a lifelong learner. Understand that there are certain areas you're not going to know anything about, but it's okay because you're committed to learning. Okay, so those are my tips for you today. Please feel free to share this with whomever you think needs to hear it, and go ahead and subscribe so you are notified of future videos. Until next time, please do stay safe. Take it easy. Bye.